Joining me now, retired Major General Peter Nezamis, former assistant adjutant and commander of the Illinois Air National Guard. Thank you for your time. As we listen to this, war crimes have been committed. Hamas slaughtered innocent civilians this weekend. How careful must Israel be now to not do the same?
Well, I think Secretary Austin was very clear about that when he specifically talked about democracies don't purposely target civilians. So with the majority of equipment now that Israel possesses and some of the things that they'll get throughout this campaign will be, a lot of those joint directed munitions that are specifically targeted, along with their drones and things that have extremely long loiter times, 30 hours at a time. They can look for specific command and control. They can look for the military, the arms of Hamas, and target those along with their leaders, their troops, and their equipment. So that's what joint directed munitions brings to the fight, that ability to specifically target those weapon systems that Hamas possesses within Gaza.
What about the hostages, some of which we know are Americans? How does that change the calculation of an air and ground assault?
Well, the air assault again is using those precision guided weapons and the best intelligence that the Israelis and other supporting nations can provide as to where those hostages may be. So it's just not indiscriminate bombings and shellings. So I'm positive that they're doing the best they can to identify where those hostages may be, and then using, to the best of their ability, directed munitions from the air, and as well as avoiding those areas with artillery that can target those civilians. And then as far as the ground offensive is concerned, that will be more of a drawn-out campaign, much like we've seen in previous conflicts, such as in Fallujah, places like that, where it's going to be door to door. It's going to be building to building, where they're going to have to do those sweeping maneuvers. So this is going to require a lot of patience for the world as we watch the Israeli military and IDF go in and building by building to try to locate those hostages while they do their sweeping maneuvers through that region.
And some still wonder about what Hamas has planned. I mean, certainly going into the attack over the weekend, they knew that this would be coming. There has been a longer-range precision ballistic missile fired from Gaza. It's David Slingshot. It launched from Gaza toward northern Israel. According to our sources within the White House from NewsNation, it was successfully intercepted, though. But what does that tell you about what weapons they have?
Well, that's how the world is today. You can take what we call a dumb bomb and very easily acquire a kit. And there are many weapon systems today that are available for countries to use by taking a simple munitions and then placing on it the ability to guide it. It's unlikely that it's still probably rudimentary at best. It's not as precision guided as others are, and it's also capable since they don't have that many of them. The Iron Dome and other missile defense systems are perfectly capable of taking those systems out, because the adversary does not have that many of them, unlike the barrage attack that we saw with the unguided missiles that went off and that soon overwhelmed the Iron Dome system. But those precision-guided weapons, again, are not very precise. That Hamas possesses, and then they can easily be intercepted by Iron Dome and other systems.
So many are concerned about this expanding and this conflict going beyond just Israel. I would imagine you share in that concern. What are the options to end this?
Well, again, it's going to take a lot of patience, and of course the will of the Israeli people and the IDF to accomplish their mission. It's going to take our support and the world support, and and we're seeing the support for them to carry on this operation. I might add, this is the reason why you have the Gerald R. Ford that's remaining in the region. The president has ordered it to stay in the region along with deploying the Eisenhower, which was on a routine deployment anyway.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.